Hello, everybody. Welcome to CapZ Cluster API Azure, our weekly office hours meeting. It's May 1st. Um, as you know, we are a project of SIG Cluster Lifecycle, and therefore we abide by the Kubernetes community rules of conduct, which we can boil down to everybody try to make this a welcoming, friendly place and try not to talk over each other. If you want to add your name to the attendees list here, please feel free to do so. Um, And with that, we can probably move on to the open discussion because there's not a lot on the agenda, but we always think of things at the last minute. So go ahead, Mohammed.
Hey guys, so yeah, last time, like I mentioned that we're gonna make a proposal for ROHSCP work. So I created a proposal. It has like the basic skeleton for the required work. Still a bit maybe need more tweaking stuff, but kind of ready if you guys can give a review. I would appreciate the feedback.
Great, awesome.
Yeah. I, so a quick recap. Basically, we're gonna introduce three new custom CRDs, one for Aero Control Plan, one for Aero Machine Pool, and one for Aero Cluster. And typically the same way as the the protocol with CAPI would be working. And I have reference here for the Azure Aero HCP SDK. Added as well to the proposal. So this is where the SDK that we will be using to deal with the API endpoint. Yeah, so that's in general. And of course, we're introducing new feature gate as well for Aero HSBC, for
Right.
HCP, sorry, HCP.
Oh, this looks great. I haven't, obviously, you just opened this up. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I'm psyched to.
Yeah, I just created the BR like 30 minutes ago. So
Cool. Well, I'll make sure everybody else is aware of it as well. That's great. Anything else you want to say about it? Or
what I have also question regarding the ASO. So for sure, like when to create ROHSB, you need to have your VNet, your resource group, like a pre-requirement for the infrastructure.
Mhm.
And I saw in the CABZ config ASO, there are CRD created to create resource group and VNet. So, but there is no much documentation on that. It's just I realized that as I was, looking to the repo. So, like, is that like something we planning to continue work on it in CAPZ, or like can we use it to create the resource group and VNet?
You mean, could you use a similar
Yes,
mechanism to this?
yes.
I would think so. As far as I know, this is how we get ASO running, so we kind of have them locally.
Okay. So then why you
So
guys
that
didn't have it all in one CRD YAML? Like if you try to open this CRDs.yaml,
mm,
it's really hard to like you cannot open it in GitHub because it's too long.
oh,
So
it'd be simpler if we broke it up. You're saying?
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know for sure. John Hune did most of the implementation. I'm not sure why this was simpler.
okay. Well, okay, then I'm just clarifying things. Okay, and so I checked the CRD that exists, the CRDs that exist in this file. There are
Hmm.
one for VNet net gateways and one for resource group and for rules. So ROHSB will be requiring some operator rules that need to be created. So can we add this to this ASO CRDs if we are having, a preference to do this through declarative way as well, or rules is not meant to be here?
Um, we have roles in this already. Is that what you're saying, or
No, we don't.
we don't?
As far as I know, I don't wanna.
Yeah. Um, I don't know offhand. It feels like it would be nice to have it all self-contained if the roles just pertain to Arrow or something, but I don't know where like the appropriate location is for roles. It does feel a little weird to. It does seem like there's a case for keeping them separate. Uh, but I guess I don't know what our convention is for something like that.
Hmm. Okay, then
We can ask on the PR.
yeah, maybe I can refer this. Maybe I can also check on the Slack channel, ask there maybe someone having.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Okay, it's just for. So yeah, yeah, it's just for the resource for Aero HSCB. You have to create a resource group, and then you have to add your roles to this resource group. So from user experience, you don't want to let the user create the resource group in Capzi and then go, create the rules in the command
Right. Right.
using easy command and then come back, It's
Yeah,
not.
should be taken care of for them.
Yeah, I guess so. So
Like with AKS, you just
it's
does what it
exactly.
needs to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why I'm asking. Okay. So I will investigate a bit and ask around if
Yeah,
it's,
sorry, I don't know off the top of my head, but uh, there probably is a convention or an appropriate place to put them.
yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Then that's all what I have. Thanks.
That's great. Good stuff. Um,
Hey
uh,
folks,
yeah, yeah.
I wasn't able to get edit access for some reason to the stock.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just jumping in. We're trying to add like Ultra SSDs to our Azure machine pools. We don't use like we self-host and we use like Azure machine pool objects. And yeah, we're trying to attach like Ultra SSDs to it, but it doesn't look like that is like actually added in for that CRD. So yeah, I was just jumping in to see if that was something you folks were interested in like a contribution or something like that.
So, is it just some field where we don't have a value for provision with Ultra SSD, or is it like an addition to the
I think
machine? Yeah.
yeah, I think all the like plumbing already exists for it. I think it's just missing on the spec for the CRD. Um, like in, for example, like Azure Machine Templates, you have like additional capabilities, and then you can like enable Ultra SSD there.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I think something similar just has to be added in for the AMPs.
That sounds very likely. As maybe you can tell, most of our energy for new development has been going into managed clusters, AKS and stuff. So
Hmm. That
it's
makes
entirely
sense.
possible that features like this we didn't catch up with the unman with the self-managed. But yeah, I think that'd
Yeah.
be a great contribution if you feel like you know where to start with it. We could definitely try and help or try and work on that.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. I can open up an issue and a kind of like starting PR and get your folks' feedback.
That would be perfect.
Sounds good.
Um, and if you do have a PR, the trick is we don't really. Oh no, actually, we do test machine pools and other. I was going to say, if you care about VMSS, um, what am I trying to say? Um, uh, to really test machine pools, you need to run the optional test that doesn't run by default. But if you open a PR, then someone will jump in there and point that out.
Gotcha. So there's like some end-to-end tests that run like if
Yeah,
you run
there's
that
just kind of
optional.
an ex there's an expensive one. I think it's like dash optional. Um, I mean expensive in terms of time. And so we don't run it by default. But if you're testing specifically machine pool stuff, then you'll want to trigger it manually a couple times. But we can show you on the PR.
Okay, sounds good.
Probably something that should be in the developer docs, but now that I'm saying it, I think it maybe isn't.
Is that like can I run something like that locally too? Like is it in the makefile?
Um, it's not in the make file, but we do have examples of how to run the E2E tests. by hand. You can't
Hmm.
the to run it exactly the same way, you'd have to go see how Kubernetes is running. So you have to go in the test info repo and hunt down the name of the job and then see that it's running, Ginkgo, blah, 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 with a bunch of flags specifically.
Mhm.
So when you're running it locally, you can usually just do the basic E2E test and then pass in a selector that selects the machine pool tests.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha. Sounds good.
yeah, but that's all assuming you're not a Microsoft employee, are you?
No.
Okay, good. Well, you'll have a much
Yeah.
easier time of it then. We we
Oh,
have all
okay.
these we have all these internal security restrictions that make it a complete pain in the ass to run the tests locally. So, but you should
Uh,
you should be fine.
okay, good. Yeah, that's it from my side, I think.
Okay, great. Yeah, that
Yeah, I was
sounds like a
wondering,
good feature.
do you know how common it is for people to like run their own like self-managed uh machine pools? Like not running in AKS?
Um, it's hard to get a handle on all the usage because I mean we don't have an agent or anything like that, so it's just based on some inferences. So I mean people do use it. Most people who use um, CAPZ at all are using machine pools, whether it's through in a self-managed cluster or an AKS cluster. It seems like that's actually pretty common, um,
Mm.
which is interesting because in cluster API overall, machine pools are still kind of a not quite a first-class citizen. Most people are using deployments instead.
Hmm.
Um,
Gotcha,
um,
yeah. We
yeah,
we we pretty heavily lean into like the machine pools, so it's just kind of curious on what other folks were doing with that.
I mean we use it and Kappa, AWS uses it pretty heavily. There's a few other implementations, but a lot of providers don't actually have a machine pool implementation because it didn't seem, maybe because they don't have a native scaling construct where it made sense or didn't have the
Hmm.
development energy. Um, and then just to be totally transparent, we feel like there's a lot of bugs in the implementation currently. So our focus for actually currently for this next release is to try and knock out some of the machine pool bugs.
Gotcha.
Because we do feel like it's an important feature. Certainly in Azure, it seems like it's getting used a lot.
Yeah, I think we've ran into some issues where like sometimes the VMSS gets stuck scaling from the machine pool. But we haven't been able to like nail it down to a specific like yeah, we haven't had the energy to like investigate and figure out what exactly is going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few bugs we know of kind of in that nature. Also with upgrading, things can go wrong if you're not very careful with machine pools, apparently.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
but yeah, if you do nail down some problem, feel free to put a bug in because we're kind of focused on that in particular right now.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
thanks.
it from my end.
Thanks for the potential contribution. Look forward to it.
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
good.
here, so we're done with the agenda. Here is where we'd usually go over the milestone and stuff, but it's probably not worthwhile without other maintainers here. It's kind of inside baseball, so let's call it good for today. And
All right,
we'll
sounds good.
hopefully see you guys next week.
Excellent.
All righty.
Good
Thanks.
one.
Have a good one.
Thanks, folks.